Hay told you love was the highest truth, a clean story with soft edges, a promise that if you behaved, if you performed the rituals correctly, desire would reward you with permanence. That story was never meant to explain reality. It was meant to manage it. Love, as it's sold, is a language of comfort. It speaks in ideals, not impulses. It describes how people should feel, not how they actually move when no one is watching. Lust, on the other hand, doesn't bother with poetry. It doesn't pretend to be noble, it doesn't ask permission, it shows up as a reaction. Raw, immediate, undeniable. That's why lust feels dangerous. It's honest in a world built on polite illusions. Watch what people say and what they do when stakes are removed. Love makes speeches. Lust changes behavior. Love negotiates. Lust decides. Love explains itself to be accepted. Lust doesn't care if it's understood. It only cares if it's felt. This is the first uncomfortable truth. Most people don't fall in love. They rationalize desire. They feel something sharp and physical, then rush to dress it up in meaning so it can survive daylight. Lust is the spark. Love is the story built afterward, so no one feels guilty for wanting. Society needs that story. Without it, chaos follows. Families fracture, rules weaken. So lust gets condemned publicly and celebrated privately. Love becomes the official language, while desire runs the underground economy of attraction. Notice how honesty works here. When someone says, "I love you," it can mean 1,000 things. Comfort, fear of loneliness, habit, convenience. When someone feels lust, there's no confusion. The body answers before the mind has time to lie. That's why lust scares people. It exposes motives. It strips away the mask. It reminds you that beneath every moral explanation is a biological signal older than culture, older than names, older than promises. Love claims it's about connection. Lust proves what kind. Here's where most people get lost. They think rejecting lust makes them virtuous. In reality, it makes them dishonest. Suppressed desire doesn't disappear. It mutates, it leaks out as resentment, passive aggression, control. People who deny lust often try to dominate through morality instead. They weaponize love to regulate behavior they're too afraid to admit they crave. That's the lie. Love isn't pure. It's curated. Lust doesn't ask you to be good. It asks you to be real. In older times, before everything was sanitized, this wasn't controversial. Desire was acknowledged as a force, not a flaw. Myths were full of it. Gods weren't polite. They were driven. Passion was power. Only later did we decide to rewrite hunger as something shameful and call the performance romance. Romance is choreography. Lust is instinct. The modern mind wants control, so it pretends choice comes first. But attraction happens before choice, before logic, before identity. Lust fires, then the brain scrambles to justify it with narratives that sound acceptable in public. Love is the best narrative we've ever invented for that purpose. Ask yourself this: if love is so honest, why does it need so many rules? Why so many conditions, timelines, expectations? Lust has none. It arrives complete. You don't negotiate with it. You either feel it or you don't. That doesn't make lust cruel. It makes it accurate. The mistake isn't feeling desire. The mistake is lying about it. When people confuse love for truth, they end up chasing validation instead of clarity. They perform affection while ignoring the signals that actually move them. They stay where passion is dead and call it loyalty. They leave where desire is alive and call it maturity. But the body keeps score, always. Lust reveals what you respond to under pressure. Love reveals what you've been taught to value. When those two align, things feel effortless. When they don't, you get anxiety, boredom, and quiet dissatisfaction disguised as stability. The old version of wisdom never told you to kill desire. It told you to understand it, to see it clearly without panic. Lust was never the enemy. Self-deception was. People who fear lust fear losing control of their image. They fear being seen as wanting too much, too openly. So they hide behind love because love is respectable. Love gets applause. Lust gets whispers. Yet every real connection begins where pretense ends. This isn't a call to abandon meaning. It's a call to stop confusing honesty with danger. Lust doesn't promise forever. It promises truth in the moment. Love promises forever, often without delivering truth at all. When you strip away the slogans, what remains is simple. Desire is information. Ignore it, and you misread reality. Worship it blindly, and you become reactive. Understand it, and you gain leverage over yourself. That's the part no one teaches. Not how to suppress desire, not how to indulge it, but how to listen without lying. Love becomes real only after lust has been acknowledged, not denied, not disguised. Otherwise, love is just fear wearing a beautiful mask. So when you hear love is everything, ask what they're avoiding. When someone condemns lust loudly, watch what they crave quietly. Truth doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need approval. Lust is honest because it has nothing to gain from impressing anyone. Love lies because it wants to be accepted. And the old truth remains, whether people like it or not. You don't choose what moves you. You only choose whether you'll admit it.